Hey, I'm Dukes on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and GreenSunsZenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store, where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it.
Hey yo, what up? It's ForceofPhil up on the track. I'm here with Dukes on Twitch and we about to break it down. What it do?
GreenSunsZenith, find the Dukes on Twitch's creatures. GreenSunsZenith. GreenSunsZenith, making Dukes on Twitch a genius. GreenSunsZenith. 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 GreenSunsZenith, making Dukes on Twitch a genius. GreenSunsZenith.
Yo, Dukes all over Twitch, playing Maverick like a maestro. Give the man a dryad arbor, GreenSuns out at night. The reliquary, you're requesting beast for the beats. While you see, then you see, staring at his Gaddock Teeg. You can't breathe cause you're getting choked, blast you in the zone. Call him Shang's son, cause he's got a cabin full of souls. Wasting all your lands, excavate them. Guarded Thraben scribs, arranging Mammy nap until he wakes you for a bane slaying. He's liberating outlands like a night of autumn. Trading swords for plows, endurance flips you to the bottom. Go and wait on under with the Dukes. Welcome to Australia. He collected wins like an oof paraphernalia. The birds of paradise flying over the savannas, where Dukes is walking proud, balling out in regalia. He's the noble hierarch held in Gaia's cradle, gazing up upon the skies where he sees a savior.
GreenSunsZenith, find the Dukes on Twitch's creatures. GreenSunsZenith. GreenSunsZenith, making Dukes on Twitch a genius. GreenSunsZenith. 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 GreenSunsZenith, making Dukes on Twitch a genius. GreenSunsZenith.
Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a donation deck list. This is for Loam. A huge thank you to Jake for the donation and for bringing me this list, because I did make some small tweaks based on consistency, just going up on the 4th Mox Diamond and the 4th Duck Confidant. I also added in a Savine's Reclamation to the sideboard. This is a card that I really enjoy playing with. We did have Unearth in the deck, but just because of Chalice, I didn't want to have a 1-drop. So I think Savine's is a really nice play because it also allows us to get multiple sort of value off it, and it's a card that I'm happy to loam as well. It means we can kind of get back anything that we want into play, which is really, really sweet, especially as this curve does stop at 3 with Kristen, Clothis, and Knight. And then, small GreenSuns package, which is pretty cool, of just Scavenging Ooze, Endurance, and Ramanap. I believe that the list originally did have the 4 prismatic endings, but I've made some room for a Beseiju, which I really want to try out in this list because of the Loams. I think it's pretty strong. And just make some room for the kind of core of the deck being the 4 Chalice, the 4 Mox, the 4 Knight, the 4 Bobs, the 2 Loam, the 2 Library, and the 2 Zenith, just to really get that consistency happening. And hopefully play like a few leagues with this and see how it goes over a few weeks, because I think Loam's a really powerful deck, of course, and a really powerful strategy. It's just a case of finding where it is in the meta, what sort of GreenSuns targets are correct, if Trophy is better than Abrupt Decay. The reason that I like Trophy is that it hits Murktide, whereas Ending and Punishing Fire don't. So I think it's going to be a pretty fun league. Loam does have a lot of openings where you really have to watch how you get your mana. So that's definitely a consideration for how we go. And then the board is pretty straightforward. Leylines and Containment Priests mainly for Graveyard Hate, but also Containment Priests for the Vile decks. Oof and Force of Vigor for the Artifact decks. I think if Blastoise sees a lot more play, there's probably a world where Seeds of Innocence is a lot more needed than it currently is. Swords just for the creature decks, Savine's Reclamation for the grindy decks, Plague Engineer for the tribal decks. Ichiganto, I believe it's called, is an interesting one, and I just didn't want to have... I really wanted to have the double Bayou and each of the other dual lands, so I wasn't sure where to cut a land to fit one in, which is just the hard case. We also aren't playing anything like Sylvan Scrying, so there's no way to put Boseiju into our hand other than Loam, but that's about it. Hey, hello. Yeah, definitely. Go for it. Let's get straight into a league and see how this goes. And then hopefully do a bit of a debrief after. But hopefully this is pretty straightforward. All right. Gameplay. What's the absolute worst game you've ever played? That's a tough one. There's definitely feel bads of like maybe making top 8 of a tournament and then being sort of blood mooned out. That's always a tough one. I remember, making top 8, making top 4 for an event, and then just getting turn 1 blood mooned. And knowing that you have something like ForceofPhil in the deck makes you play on, but my opponent had a really slow clock, and it was just a game of just destroying not what I needed. And I think that was probably the worst game I've ever played. Just a game where you have a small percentage to draw the right out, but you just don't hit it. That's probably it. What about you, Mean? All right, on the play, which is nice. And no Mox Diamond start, but we do have a pretty nice hand of either turn 1 Chalice, or turn 2 Chalice, or turn 2 Library, so I'm pretty happy to keep this. Depending on what we're playing against. My opponent's mulligan to 6. Probably just getting a Bayou and a... I should double check what the jewels are once we see where our opponent plays first. Underground Sea, okay. Underground Sea is an interesting one. To me, that signifies... Doomsday. So like Chalice on 1 and Chalice on 0 here isn't too bad. So I'll go for Bayou. And then I think it's going to be Taiga, which gives me access to... I guess we already have double green for like Endurance, which isn't too bad. Hey, Northern Angel. Yeah, it could definitely be Control as well. I wonder if there's a world where I just keep the Chalice on 1 and then keep the other Chalice. I'm thinking of Plateau, but it's not running a Plateau, so it might just be Taiga here. Yeah. Brainstorm's going to be okay. Unfortunately, Underground Sea and Brainstorm don't give away too much either. This could be some sort of like bug deck still that just isn't. I guess Daze is kind of a giveaway. Okay. That's pretty interesting. I think I'm just going to pass with the Chalice. Because I probably don't want to shut off my own Mox Diamonds at this stage. But if this is Doomsday, then the Chalice on 1 is quite nice. Turning off cantrips, things like Thoughtseize. Interesting. They're trying to fill the bin. Preordain typically pushes me towards thinking this is going to be combo. Chalice check worth a try, yeah. I'm going to play the Library. I really want to find a threat to close out the game. Doomsday playing towards Murktide, yeah. I wonder if the Chalice for 0 here is worth it. Yeah, it could also be opponent trying to fill the deck for Cabal Ritual Jacks. That's a good one as well. I think in the case of turning off both Lotus Petal and LED, I'm happy to play the Chalice here for 0. At this stage we have 4 mana, so I don't really need to like have the Mox Diamonds. Because Chalice for 1 is obviously pretty detrimental for a deck like Ant or Tess. Or Doomsday, but if they do have a way to get around it, then it's not unlikely that they could win through Chalice on 1. But yeah, it looks like we're just going to see a bigger Murktide here. So Boseiju is artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess we've already been hit with our lands here because I don't have a white source for the night, which is a little bit tough, and something I should definitely have considered. I don't want to go too deep either. Because of Murktide and like ForceofPhil, Murktide would currently be a 6/6. I think it's just going to be the Grove. Sorry. We play 1 basic. But Boseiju allows them to get a land card with a basic land type. So if we hit an Underground Sea, they can go get another Underground Sea, but because this has a basic land type of both Island and Swamp. So it's not like a... I guess I could trophy them, but I think here we're fine just passing with Punishing Fire up. Nothing. I guess we can Chalice for 2. Chalice for 2 kind of locks us out as well. I'm going to dig once. They currently have 4 cards in hand. Drop. I could like blast one up for Wishclaw, but I don't really want to blow up my own library as well. Okay, there we go. Wonder if they end step Adnors. Yeah. Alright. LED tutor, LED tutor. Land. Pedal. Thoughtseize. I mean, like, the storm count is potentially just there. Come on, get to 2. Do they go to 2? I think they... Like, if they're still going, what are they trying to hit? I don't think they've hit what they want to hit yet. I guess they could fetch, potentially? They've only hit Pluto Deltas as their land drops. I think the Grove as well kind of shows off that I could potentially have a... wow, yeah, like 1, 2, 3... 3 free Storm. Oh, they're so close. Yeah, they have to... I guess they have Cabal Ritual as well. 4... They could also Infernal Tutor for a Cabal. I guess they don't have a way to discard their hand. That's a tough one. So Infernal Tutor actually isn't the tutor they need. Yeah. And they obviously didn't draw the Storm spell they needed either. I guess they could try to... Oh, they can't even brainstorm into it. Wow. No, they can cast... No, they can't even cast Veil. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is going to be a matchup where the endings can come out, the Punishing Fires can come out, the trophies, like the Blast Zone, the Maze of Ith, the Caracas potentially. But I do have to keep up the Mox Diamond count as well, so I actually might just want the white source of a Caracas. I really want the Mox Darts as well, like a turn 1 Chalice on the draw is still okay. Grist is too slow, Ramanap's too slow. Leyline does something. Collector Oof does something. Force of Vigor might do something. I don't mind Plagues just because of Empty, and I don't mind Savines, as I think it's just better than these cards. Pretty much a transformational sideboard. There's like a world where Punishing Fire is okay. I think Endurance is fine, especially against like if they're going for an ant line through our Past in Flames. Loams are a little bit too slow. Like maybe the Punishing Fires are just okay. Like maybe Loam is fine because of like Loam with Wasteland. I think we'll just see how this goes. Hey Boyd, welcome. Hey Jake, no, a huge thank you. Interesting hand. I think it's okay. Leyline into most likely just Bog and then try to get a Knight into play. We have Force of Vigor if needed. Eve, yeah, that's very true, Sterling. That's a great point. They would probably have Eve instead of Empty. Or at least maybe go for Eve instead of Empty. The tough thing is the deck can definitely win through hand disruption. What's Eve? Oh, Boyd. Eve is a creature with Storm. So Eve is a ooze for 5 mana. It has Storm, and its tokens aren't legendary. And when it enters the battlefield with a +++ counter, for each other ooze you control. So you kind of get like a 1/1, a 2/2, a 3/3, a 4/4 for each storm count, which is pretty sweet. So it's pretty awesome. It plays around like Gaddock Teeg. It obviously plays around Flusterstorm, which is pretty crazy. Pretty awesome printing. I think there's a better hand than this. I don't think just the Leyline is enough. And ForceofPhil is like tough. It's only good if they play out their artifacts early on without having the mana to use them. I'm going to mulligan this. I think because we're up a game, I think there's a better 5 or a better 6, especially with Chalice. Not a better 5, but like Bobs to find extra cards is pretty good. So we still have Disruption, ways to find more Disruption and Pressure. So I'm going to keep this and probably just bottom the Dryad Arbor. Opponent on 6. Yeah, could definitely see Thalia's in the board. Maybe even in the place of the Containment Priests, just because we have a lot of hate for both Reanimator and Tribal decks. Well, I'm just going to play this out on 0. Just to have like a turn 1 play. Ooh. Second Thoughts is pretty nice. There is a world where I get Dryad Arbor here. Yeah, I only kept the P5s because I think 2 damage is better than nothing else. Is there a world where I get Dryad Arbor here? The only black card really is Dark Confidant that I care about. I think getting in some damage is fine. Grove would gain them a life anyway of the Punishing Fire, so 1 damage here is pretty much the same thing. But yeah, I wonder if there are like 2 cards that are better than Punishing Fire. Tough. They chose to not shuffle, which is pretty interesting. White Source? Oof, you love to see it. Do we have a scrub land? We do have a scrub land. Alright. Well, now we also have Wasteland online, which is pretty cool. Stay hydrated, friends. Stay hydrated. Oh, just a pass? I think taking them off black here is fine. I also have a 2-turn clock if I attack. Because I could fetch for a Badlands, which is 6 damage, putting them down to 8. Punishing Fire is then 2. And then the 6 the following turn is lethal. But is that better than Wastelanding my opponent? Is there a world where we can attack for lethal next turn and hold up Knight here? That's the hard one. I don't think so. I think we can definitely attack with the Dryad Arbor, And probably end step take out the Underground Sea. I'm going after Underground Sea because of Dark Ritual. This could be like a Chain of Vapor. Brainstorm, okay. My music in my headphone is skipping. Do you also hear that? Hey Martin, welcome. You're more than welcome. Yeah, it's nice to be able to move around decks. And I can see that, yeah, you as well going from 4-color to green-white is pretty nice because I think both decks have definitely had their time in the sun. 4-color Loam a lot more in the back end of the 20 teens, but yeah, green-white depths right now are doing really well. Okay. I am gonna fetch. And I am gonna get a Badlands. And just cast this Punishing Fire right now, because then I can return it in my turn. They have 5 cards. Down to 10. Okay. Swamp. Infernal Tutor. What do they show? Dark Ritual. Okay. Interesting. Let's have a quick look at the board. So we have 8 damage in play. Our opponent's at 10. So if we draw into a Wasteland, we can Wasteland ourselves for lethal. If we return the Punishing Fire here, we put them up to 11. Which I guess, even if we draw the Wasteland, then we can still like Punishing Fire them and then go over. So I think it's probably just correct to return the Punishing Fire. Let's have a quick look at the deck list. Is there a reason to not return the Punishing Fire here and gain them the life? I think I like using it. Yeah, another knight. Not the worst. Yeah, I think we just put them down to... so they have double Dark Ritual. How much do they need this trop? I think putting them down to... So we have some options. We can attack for 8, put them to 3, Punishing Fire puts them to 1, which means they can't fetch. We can play another knight, and then Wasteland them off the trop. The Dryad Arbor is a forest, so thankfully we can use a knight. I guess we can't play the... Yeah, that's true. We can't play the knight and Wasteland. So I think in that case, I'm happier just to attack. And turn off their fetch lands, which is pretty huge. But yeah, Don Mars, that's a good pickup. All right. Nice. The Chalice off the top was really nice. Like, double Thoughtseize taking double Duck Confidant was pretty tough because that's like the engine that we wanted in the hand. But yeah, I think we just had enough disruption and had a threat in play that was obviously, yeah, threatening their board pretty enough. Okay. Interesting. Deck felt pretty good. Deck felt nice. You can see there, like, I'm very rusty with how to fetch jewels. And in that game 1, like, not getting a white source definitely punished us. Not having a plateau in the deck. It's always tough trying to fit in all of the jewels because some of them just aren't that great. Like Plateau not being a great card to cast like Zenith off on turn 1. We're not also playing like Bolt, so you don't have to hold up like Swords Plowshares and Lightning Bolt with the same jewel. But, tough one. Cool to see, Ant. I know that Cyrus has been playing around with it, which is very cool to see. All right, Swampy Swamp. A bit of a rough hand. Both of these sources come in tapped on turn 1 or can't be tapped for mana on turn 1. But we do have some nice follow-ups. Like we have turn 1, probably Bog. I think Dried Arbor as a turn 1 play is just open to so much removal that you're probably going to lose it. Yeah, I think a good piece of feedback post donation list is probably just playing that Savannah. Hey Gizlo. Tough one. I think there's a better 6. Yeah. No white source. Does have P-Fire with Grove. I could see like keeping this Cycling Thicket, trying to get Prismatic online, or dropping the Prismatic. Seeing that Boseiju kind of answers anything, and yeah, I don't mind that. Drop Prismatic, and then we have like Grove into Thicket. Bob, okay. Yeah. The Brainstorm, okay. I think, one of the big parts of learning Loam is learning the mana. And even like what hands to keep, what hands not to keep. Obviously, like fetching and how to fetch is a big one. I can't imagine it when you played like the old school versions with like Hindered to Rack as well. Pretty sweet. Oof. Stopping on draw step. Interesting. What is my opponent doing? Are they playing a Miracles deck? It's going to hold up a Boseiju here. And also Punishing Fire. I feel like a back to basics deck potentially. Could also be Hull Breacher. I'm kind of feeling Hull Breacher here. That I'm probably happy just to pass with Punishing Fire open. Which is a tough one, but it's just a weird start from my opponent. There is definitely merit to playing Knight here because then we have options down the line to maybe get black mana for Dark Confidant, but I think because I kind of sniff out a Hull Breacher, I'm happy to hold up Punishing Fire here. Okay. Just as bad, but... Hey, 1230, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I don't have a Legacy Maverick Discord. I think the Maverick Discord itself is really strong. So that's why I really like that that group of people. Okay. Now I don't mind our spot. But yeah, the Legacy Maverick Discord is a great place. Nice and active, really like welcoming people. Really good like strategic talk as well. I haven't played against Kappa Turtles yet. Obviously a really hard card to deal with not only Ward 4, but pretty much unblockable every turn. So I think if that deck like does become quite popular, then like Seeds of Innocence seems like a nice way to deal with the deck instead of Force of Vigor and Collector Oof. But it's tough. It's tough for sure. Alright. Another Bob here is pretty interesting. I kind of want to play the Boseiju here just because then I get to play like a double spell. And I think I'll lead on Knight. I'd rather the Knight get countered than the Bob. Okay. Happy to tap out here as well because my opponent only has 4 mana currently. So they can't do something like Narset or Hull Breacher and Days Undoing. Alright. Jace isn't too bad because we have the trophy here. Kataki's nice as well. Ooh. Interesting for sure. I'm going to start with Trophy. I really just want to get that Jace off the field. Okay. Now the tough part is that they're so close to like... oh, it comes in untapped? I think in that case I should have definitely played the Chalice first. So they can't like brainstorm in response to this. Okay. So they have 3 cards, 4 cards after draw. Just gotta... for 1 turn. Okay, they only have 3 cards left. Another Jace is pretty good. We do have Punishing Fire though, so we do have a way to go after it. Wasteland would be kind of cool here. Windswept Heath isn't too bad either because it's another red source. Let's tap correctly. Force of Negation would be pretty huge here. Keep this for Dryad Arbor. I think because of the Chalice, I'm not too scared of like Scavenging Ooze being online for like Swords to Plowshares. So I think here I'm happy to allow them to gain a life, play the Knight, and hold up Dryad Arbor as well. But yeah, now they have the mana online for Days Undoing. That's the tricky part. Teferi Bounce Chalice as well is pretty strong. Bounce the Knight, okay. Not too bad. I will play this because if they have something like a Hull Breacher or a Snapcaster Mage, then I don't have to attack with the Dryad Arbor. But I will try to kill the Teferi here. Nice, okay. Here I'm happy just to untap the Dryad Arbor end of combat to get that extra mana. And now we get to go recast the Knight. Which fetch into ForceofPhil isn't too bad because we still have Scoos. Dress down. I will eat something here. I think just in case of... Mystic Sanctuary, I should eat something here. I think it might just be the Source to Plowshares in case they have like Teferi bounce into Snapcaster Mage. Hey D5, welcome. Always a pleasure to see you in chat. They play Savine sometimes. Yeah, no, that's a hard one to play around. Interesting they did that there. I should have picked up on that. It's not actually end step, so they don't get it for their turn as well. They're going to try to cast Brainstorm. That obviously gets hit by Chalice. Now they try to Brainstorm with Jace. It works. It is a success. This could be a really interesting matchup because with the amount of basics they have, the Wasteland plan isn't that great. Ooh, red. Okay. Jeskai. This feels like a prismatic ending to Fairy. Okay. They did fetch prismatic, sure. Ponder, sure. Chose to not shuffle. Interesting. Okay. I think we just attack Dryad Arbor at Teferi and Scoos at Jace. And then happy to try to eat Bob to kill Jace. Oh, well that's pretty huge. I did not expect that to happen. They didn't shuffle with the Ponder. I sadly don't think we have anything to do here other than play... Knight. And I should have used the maze as well on the Dryad Arbor, so we always have a mana up for Scavenging Ooze. But we can still do that here. Verdict. I'll take out the ending. It's always a tough thing with like committing there to the board, but I'm going to assume Verdict's like a one-of in the main deck, so I don't mind that. Narset, okay. This is fine. We have the ending for it, which is really nice. They find Ponder. But they don't Ponder. If we draw Chalice here, they get hit by that. Okay. So what if we go white, these three colors, get rid of this. Ah, it's because they have force. That makes sense, okay. Now we can see. Alright, they have a pretty good dig here for Day's Undoing. They find Teferi. They play Teferi. They bounce Chalice, draw a card? No, they tick up. Huh. Ooh, what does Loam do? Okay, Loam gets us some draws. Tranquil, Windswept, Dryad Arbor. Surely Force Negation is not the last card. Good. Alright, let's draw a card first. Oh, no, we can't. No, because Narset. No! No! I make these punts so you don't make these punts. Say it with me. I make these punts so you don't make these punts. Tough. That's the thing, like, you just, like, I see that Narset's there, and I do it anyway. Am I loaming? That's the question. I don't think so. I think I'm trying to draw into action. I do have the option to draw into, like, Tranquil Thinker, but no, because of the Narset as well. Okay, that's actually pretty nice. I can take out the Teferi here and then try to use the Dryad Arbor to attack the Narset. But I always feel on edge here. It's just so many little things my opponent could have, especially at 3 cards. Another Narset. Yeah. Shark Typhoon. That's pretty good. They could just hardcast that now as well. Swords. Bob? Just find it and we concede. I think this game is definitely a little bit gone a little bit too far. Find a dress down, okay. But they've also drawn... No? Sure. They can dress down in their end step as well to turn off Bob. Or just prismatic ending it. Yeah. Cool deck. Think we'll concede there. Alright, Jeskai. Not a whole lot, to be honest. Not a whole lot. I like the Savians. I don't mind the thought of a Force of Vigor. I'm going to assume they're playing back to basics, and if I can hit like a Shark Typhoon, I'm pretty happy. Ramanap can come out. They have a lot of basics. And it might just be one Loam here. I literally think that's it. Even the Moxes aren't great, but I think just being able to get like a turn 1 Chalice is so good. Turn 2 Bob, and we have like answers for the Hull Day. Hey Star Fox, welcome. I think there's a better 6. I really like mulliganing and at least trying to find a Mox Diamond start. It's pretty high as well. This is not it. Okay. I think I bottom ending and a land. That could be a little bit too far-fetched. I think it might just be Knight and we just go all in on this Bob. The thing is that Blast Zone on 3 is actually quite good against them, but I kind of want to keep the Blast Zone. But it is tough. Yeah. Oh, is this ending on Mox? Okay, that's not too bad. We get a card off the Bob here. Nice. Oh. I don't think we want to Loam just yet. Double ending's really good. Okay. Okay. We have like green card ForceofPhil. I guess we have Beseiju, but with the Loam we can't actually Loam back here. Yeah, I think I'd rather just skip ahead to the next game. Hey Pendulum, we beat Ant in round 1. But yeah, it's tough. Maybe maybe there's greediness there with the mulligan on the 7. Like it's a playable 7, has some interaction, but it does get beaten up by a double prismatic. But I mean, like, what doesn't these days? Tough. Mox Diamond should say, in the end step, return the land you discarded. I think that would make it a little bit better. I think that's where Mox Diamond needs to be in 2022. But in all seriousness, I mean, turn 1 Mox into Dark Confidant is exactly where I want to be in 2022 Legacy. But yeah, played a league with John O'Yannick, aka Dreadnought33, on his Naya Depths list, which took down the Legacy Challenge on Sunday, which is very cool. He only dropped 3 games during the whole thing, which is very cool to see. But yeah, that should be up on YouTube after this league. I'll put it up, which is pretty cool. Hey, Otter Lady. Yeah, GG's. If you were on Jeskai? How's the new Tempo Doomsday deck versus Maverick? I don't want to talk about it. It definitely got harder, because now you can't just take out your 4 Swords to Plowshares. You kind of need to keep them in. It's kind of taken the deck away from the Doomsday plan somewhat, but it's still a really tough matchup. Really, really tough. I can't say if the like Baleful Strix Murktide version has made the matchup like for better or for worse. It's yeah, it's definitely tough, especially if they get the starts with Temporal Masteries. Those can be pretty backbreaking. I don't mind this hand. This has got a pretty nice curve as well. Windswept can go and get Scrubland? Yeah, Scrubland. Okay. Yeah, which allows us to turn 2 Bob or like Prismatic Ending and Wasteland. But yeah, really need to make sure our mana's tight this game. Oof. They get to take like Assassin's Trophy here, which is a way to deal with the reanimated spell. I guess if their reanimate spell is animate dead, we do have the prismatic ending for it as well, which is a little bit fortunate. And thankfully, sideboard we have a lot of cards for this matchup. You know, Leyline, Swords to Plowshares, Containment Priest, and extra endurance. Opponent definitely thinking. Entomb. Could suspect Archon, but Grizzlebrand's nice. Yeah, especially if you have the reanimate straight away. Oh, they don't? Okay. We do have Bajuka Bog here as a live draw. Knight. Yeah, I think Waste Ending was the play. I just thought of that as I played the Taiga, but I think it is correct to just go after their mana with 3 cards in hand. They obviously don't have a 1 mana reanimate spell, so they probably have a 2 mana. So taking them off the Badlands and the Petal there is definitely correct. And then we have the land as well to play Bob after that. And that's a big thing that I do sometimes, is that I even just do something as simple as playing a land before kind of going through the motions of what I want to do this turn. And it's cost me because there's no way of taking that back. So tough one. I think the only thing here we can do is try to adapt and go ahead with Scrubland into Dark Confidant. Because I don't think just taking them off the Petal is better than that. Definitely interesting. I mean, there is a world where my opponent doesn't have the extra mana for a turn 2 reanimate spell next turn. like putting Bob into play means they have to find they have to have a reanimate spell and also hand disruption, or else Grist trades the Dark Confidant for the Grizzlebrand. But then by then they've also drawn probably 14. Tough. Yeah, I think we have to just play the Bob. And maybe even hope they don't have a reanimate spell and they have something like a... They wouldn't have a looting because they entombed. But yeah, Wasteland Prismatic there, the good line. What would I change in this list? Nothing yet. I've only played 2 games. Mountain. Interesting. Don't often see Mountain out of Reanimator. Huh. They take the ending. Animate dead. Yeah. Tough. Still have some nice outs. Caracas would be cool. Library not as cool. But yeah, this is going to be a hard one. They get to gain 7, draw 7 next turn. Most likely get an Archon into play, make a sack the Bob, discard the Mox. Tough. Definitely a few options for them. I assume the first thing you do is attack. Then you draw 7, and then main phase 2 you make all your plays with the most amount of information. Reanimate Grist and then trade my own? That's a tough one. I think in this version it's just Punishing Fire and Clothis, which you could definitely say are outdated, but I've always liked Punishing Fire when I've played with it. But I could definitely see like a blue splash be pretty cool with like Leovold. You get like some like maybe Flusters or something in the sideboard. They didn't use the Grist? Huh. I'm going to play the Verdant because if I can sacrifice Dryad Arbor, I'd be pretty happy. To a Archon trigger. They don't pay. Sai is fine. This game's interesting. It's already turned... I can't believe we're still in it. Our opponent just must have not really drawn much off this last 7. Huh. Maze of Vith is also interesting here. I think Karakas is probably better. Just to get the Grizzlebrand off the field. Yeah, Knight is very cool. They're going to draw in response. I'm just going to return it now. So in the graveyard, they currently have Sire of Insanity. That's the only relevant card. Interesting. Yeah, I thought there was a world where maybe they like attacked with the Grizzlebrand, drew some cards, then traded the Grizzlebrand for the Knight, and then got it back into play. But maybe their only reanimate spell was a Exhume, where I'd get the Knight back. Opponent potentially trying to loot, but obviously that gets hit by Chalice as well. Interesting board state. So they are going to get the looting into the bin, but it doesn't do a whole lot. I am going to get Dryad Arbor here for sure. My only reasoning to not do it was in case we drew into Assassin's Trophy and no land. Wow. Alright. Interesting. So we like the ley lines. We like the containment priests. We like the swords. I don't think I need the forces. Punishing fires can come out. Endings I'm happy to probably take out. I still don't mind the chalices. The trophies are nice. The libraries. The loams are too slow. Ramanap's too slow. Grist is okay because it is removal. Clothis is fine, but it is pretty slow. Blast Zone can come out as well. Green Suns, Chalice, Knight, Grist, Endurance. Trophies we still have for Serenity if they play that. Cabal Pit is a little bit interesting, but it is a black source, and it is like pitchable to Mox Diamond. I think this is pretty good. I don't think this is good enough, especially on the draw. I'm pretty happy to mulligan to either a Mox hand or a Leyline hand. And I'm probably pretty happy to mulligan pretty aggressively as well. Okay, well this is a Leyline hand and a Chalice hand with Trophy. Hey, Deep Izzle, too kind for the 6-month sub. A huge thank you. Too kind. The question is what the drop is. For me, it's between Maze or Wasteland. I kind of like dropping the Maze. Yeah. Wasteland's not the worst if I'm trying to keep them off Serenity. There is a world where they just have the jewels as well. Yeah, I can definitely see where Maze is good if they go for Grizzlebrand lines. It's just the Archon that's tough because it triggers on attack. Okay. I guess they could have Wear. I think it's okay to play Library here. I could hold up Trophy if I really wanted to, but I want to find a threat to really pressure them. And if they drew Wear for their one card, then that's fine. No. Trophy here still dealing with Serenity for both of these is pretty strong. Yeah, the library was nice, and I think like that's the one time where I'm happy to play it out. But it can be really tough. Like it's only one card, and then they. I am just paying for all of these. I don't mind playing Karakas and Green Suns for Ooze. I mean, now we have an abundant number of ways to deal with things if we get to untap. Yeah, really tough spot for my opponent. I mean, having Leyline to start with and then just nice mana. Nice. I think the sideboard is definitely very well tuned for Reanimator. But it's tough to find out what's good against these BANT decks from a 4-color position. It's probably switching away from red or playing some number of blast effects. Which is tough because I still don't mind Chalice for 1 against those types of decks. Even though Prismatic Ending is a nice clean answer, it is one less Prismatic Ending going towards like a Library or a Clothis. Tough one. But yeah, maybe the Maze was better. I guess my only thought on the Wasteland is that it taps for mana as well. It would be our third land. which is nice because then we could play like a knight. But worked out okay. Worked out okay. But yeah, cool to see, I think Warra as well, top 8'd, came second in the Saturday challenge with Depths, which definitely isn't a surprise given their results. But really cool to see a first place and a second place over the weekend for Depths. Nice. But yeah, Loam feeling okay. Pretty happy to be able to play the deck. So a huge thank you to Jake for the donation deck. It's really nice to have some support. Auntie Donna is hilarious. I think my favorite skit is probably the Christmas Pud. It's got to be Christmas Pud. For those of you who are unaware, Auntie Donna is a comedic group from Australia that do some pretty funny skits. Always room for some Pud. Yeah, it's tough. I feel like there's like Dress Down is just such a beating for so many things that I like to do, including Saga. Up against Rain. Up against the Yorion deck. And it's a 1 lander mox that I'm not too happy to keep. I'll keep this. I'm probably happy keeping the Boseiju against this deck, so I think it might just be the Tranquil Thicket that I drop here. Okay. Thankfully not Death and Taxes. I'm probably just going to lead on the Bayou here. Ooh, yeah. These Loam decks moving towards, or these BANT decks moving towards Loam are a real beating. I don't mind Savannah. I could get another Bayou. But I kind of like having double white. Sure. I haven't had too much time with Boseiju, but I do like the thought of it. Okay. Probably Knight of Autumn or Rex Sage here. Grist. Okay, that's fine. Double Mox. Huh. I feel like we're taking out the Grist with Trophy. I'm definitely not attacking the Grist. Could also play my own Grist, but I can't make a dude and attack. A few things. I don't really want to play the Knight into this either, so I think I will start with Trophy. Okay. And then it's probably going to be... Mox Pitch Blast Zone? The question is, do I want to hold up the Boseiju or not? I don't think I do. I think I'd rather play this as a land and pass. 2, 3, 4. And then if we draw land, we can have double spell next turn. Tough one though. Hey, HG Butt, welcome. Uru's not the worst here. I'm not too sad to see Uru. Hey, thanks HG Butt. Too kind. Too kind. They do have 7 cards, which is pretty brutal. This feels like Prismatic Ending. Another Loam. Okay. Oh, Clothis is kind of cool here. Tough. I think the other play was like Grist and Greensuns for Dryad Arbor. I don't mind the thought of this. I'll let it play as my opponent as well. Yeah. Hey, Night of the Reliquary, thanks for the 5-month sub. Too kind. Too kind. I hope you're doing well. Okay. I'm going to take out the Uro. I could go after the Wasteland. I think eating the Uro is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if I want it. I kind of like Loam because Verdant Catacombs gets Dried Arbor, which is just a nice blocker for the Uro. I don't really care about this Uro though, right? Because of the one in play. I might as well just go after the Wasteland. I'm gonna hit the Caracas. Cast Mox. Pitch the Badlands, and then see if we can loam back those cards. Verdant, Wasteland, Badlands. Surely my opponent has like a Force Negation here with 7 cards in hand, yeah. Oh! No! Alright. Oh, Endurance? Potentially? No. Library's okay. Okay. I don't want to attack into an Endurance. Nothing. My opponent has a lot of cards, but just can't obviously find something. I feel like this Chalice has been doing a lot of work. Interesting. I don't want to run like Knight into Uro and then have them endurance me, so I'm just going to put the insect here. And I don't mind putting this here. I don't think I get hit by anything. By having 1 damage on the Knight, I think that's fine. Opponent has to discard. Oh, they also discarded the Loam, but we get to eat that now. I don't see this resolving, but getting a Ramen up here would be pretty sweet. Pretty easy attack here as well to see if they want to trade away the Dryad Arbor. Yeah. There's also the play of like Double Bob and Prismatic Ending on the Sylvan Library. I wanted to main phase the Green Suns there so I had the knowledge of if they had endurance or not. This is fine, that's a lot of life to gain, which is nice. Who would win? One Titan of Nature's Wrath? Or an insect? Pretty funny. There goes Grist. One, two, three, four. I think I like going for just Ramen up again. See if it resolves first. Okay. I guess what I could have done is Wastelanded first to keep them off hardcast Force Negation, and that's probably correct. This is actually a tough one. What do we have? 1, 2 mana. I actually don't mind Knight, and then also just Chalice again. Knowing how big it is. They also didn't force the Green Sun, so I assume they don't force the Chalice. Unless they have like a Source to Plowshares in hand. Yeah, okay. I think we get in for 2 here. If they have endurance, they have endurance. They've been pretty patient on it if they have. Luckily not. If they don't pay here... Okay, they do pay. I was going to say, if they don't pay, I don't think they've found a way to deal with the knight. They wastelanded me first, which is interesting. I think I'm okay to keep this, because we get a turn where we could potentially block, and then if they have endurance, we can just turn something, hopefully, into a Caracas. Okay. Sorry. Green, red, white. Ending. Nice. Second bob. I don't want to attack here. I guess we don't really mind if they... no, I don't want to trade into a sneaky blocker. Cloth is doing a lot of work. I mean, my opponent has so many targets for Prismatic Ending that it's hard to keep up. Land? Land? Nice. You love to see it. I don't mind the double attack here, just to really put the pressure on my opponent. I'm just gonna Punishing Fire here in response to the draw in case they draw into Force or blue card. Now they want to do something else. Endurance. That I'm happy to trophy. Is there a world where I care about red? I don't think so in the main deck, but if I have the option here... I feel like we also now have Dryad Arbor back in the deck, which is kind of nice. Sure. I mean, if they pay 4, they need to have an answer to Clothis. Or find a Uro. I think because they're so low on life, I just want to try to get something before they yeah, find the Uro. I'm not going to fetch up in this case. Uro really strong. Yikes. Alright. Not even playing it. Hey Wax, welcome. Hope you're having a nice lunch. I don't really care if this gets taken out by a endurance because we have the Ramanap. But hopefully we can start wastelanding a little bit here. Or not. That's cool. That's cool. We're all good. We're all good. Field is pretty nice. And this is tough. I think this just shows where BANT is just the better like 4-color like Loam deck, or what you're wanting to do with just grounding out an opponent. Which is tough. I mean, like, I think 4-color Loam is a really fun deck to play, but from like a competitive standpoint, it's really hard to say like, why are you playing this over like BANT midrange? And it's tough. There's not too many like answers. Like Chalice isn't a big reason these days. I'll make them go through the motions. Cool deck, though. A lot of power now. I might as well put the Dryad in front. Do we still have... I guess we still have Grist in the deck, so there's a world where I want to trade like the Dryad for something else. They get to Wasteland it next turn, which is the reason why I might want to block with it this turn, but I think Grist is a reason to keep it. Just a way to deal with Uro. Sideboard's going to be interesting. I don't think I want the ley lines, but seeing Loam and Uro is like nearly enough. I assume this is Green Suns for prime time. So like Containment Priest is always interesting just because they're probably more of a Green Suns deck than we are. Yeah, Visagia is very expensive, unfortunately. All right. This is an interesting one. I don't think I want the diamonds, as weird as that sounds. Or the chalices. And just go into like Uro, Priest, this, ley lines? I don't mind the Punishing Fires. I don't want to overcommit either. It's just tough because the turn 1 plays of like Mox into 2-drop are just so good. Could be something like this. Or even like just 2 ley lines and 2 priest. Priest only turns off Green Suns and it's kind of awkward to attack with into like an Ice Fang or Endurance as well. So it's not great pressure. And I really want to have like pressure and disruption like Knight. But again, Knight just gets hit by Endurance as well. Yeah, Maze is a tough one as well. Maze is probably more so for my creatures to be able to attack but also hold them up. But obviously Maze against Uro is pretty bad because they get to trigger an attack, not when they deal damage. Plagues are interesting because it's like a way that you can keep Ice Fangs off the field and make your opponent have to deal with them first. I don't mind a force. I think that's okay. I'm not too sure on the ley lines, but turning off like Uro and Loam is really nice. And we also have like the mana to cast them, so that's pretty sweet. Turn 2 library here. I don't mind that. We also have 3 mana, which is quite nice. Turn 1 Grove. I'm going to play the Grove out because it's the card that I least care about. Really need this library to stick to find a white source, but I can see here Prismatic Ending is just going to end our dreams. Now we're in a tough spot because we're losing land drop, so if my opponent counters the Loam, then we're kind of done. We almost have to like force the knight here, which is even worse. Or force the library. But these two cards by themselves are just so good that I think we just have to take the natural draw. And hit a white source. Okay, now we're talking. Should definitely have attacked the Grist there, and I didn't. Yeah, that's just a bad trade. Tough. I think it's a real... Yeah. Tough. I think the amount of value there is just too strong. And missing on the white source is really tough. Hey, Bob's Mans. Welcome. That's not a game I'm going to enjoy, and that's why I don't want to play it. But yeah, I think that BANT all day just kind of runs over Loam, which is pretty tough, especially when they play Loam themselves. Tough. I guess like Choke is kind of an okay card against BANT. Yeah, just a tough one. A lot of value. And a lot of cards that get like strict value straight away. Like Dark Confidant has to untap, Knight has to untap, Uro doesn't, Grist doesn't, Ice Fang doesn't. And then once you get your like Abundant Growths going with Yorion, it's got a really nice late game. So yeah, sadly, if I had some like feedback for the BANT matchup, I would say avoid the matchup. I think that's the best way to put it. But it can be grindy, which is nice. It can be pretty fun that way. All right, let's try to finish this off on a high. And I don't mind this. It has a nice curve at least. Turn 1 ending, turn 2 Dark Confidant. Off a Scrubland. Put a mulligan to 4 cards. Okay, this could be Dredge. Or maybe Madness? Guess we're about to see. Golgari Thug. Okay. Not too bad. So Dredge 4. They hit a Stinkweed Imp. And their Breakthrough. Yikes. One bridge, 2 bridge, Cabals. Yep. Leyline. Containment Priest. Plagues are fine. Swords are fine. Loam's too slow. Ramanap too slow. Cloth is too slow. Grist too slow. Bobs are probably fine. Punishing Fire is not too bad. Oof is too slow. Libraries are too slow. Trophies are interesting. Chalices for 0 are fine. Forces can come out. Endings are fine. Probably Blast Zone. Four cards. Could just be the Moxen. But like turn 1 Containment Priest is really solid, or turn 1 like Chalice for 1. I could see a world where we don't need the swords. Something like this. I think the ley lines should hopefully be enough. Pretty awkward hand, like Chalice for 0 and then like land into Bog next turn. Yuck. No. Okay. Bottom. And then we have Greensuns into turn 2 Knight for Bojuka Bog, if needed. Yeah, Savines can actually... Savines is not needed. I would say Savines is not correct to bring in. Wow, okay. Did not expect that. Tough. Oh, they target themselves. Okay, that makes sense. At least sacking my own Dried Arbor can hit the bridges. There is a world where we could cast Leyline next turn if we draw into a fetch land or black source. But they know about the Leylines. Okay. I think it's just going to be Chalice for 1. And then Bog them. Definitely interesting though, because they can't really Icarid in their turn anyway, because the only creature currently is Stinkweed Imp. I could Wasteland the Colosseum and then just pass. I think that's okay. See what they dredge. Alright, they hit another Narcomoeba, so I think here I'm pretty happy to try to bog them. Well, that's a pretty nice draw. Just gonna fetch now. Attack for 7, and we have a 2-turn clock. Opponent said BRB. I think we can definitely drop the Savines, and probably just bring back in potentially the Swords to Plowshares. But yeah, interesting matchup. That blue card's really cool. I've never seen this card before. Stern Dismissal. Which is pretty great for this deck because you're looking to return things like Leyline, things like Scavenging Ooze or Containment Priest. Endurance is tough because the trigger goes in the stack, but really cool. It's also a world where you could like target your own creatures to then like discard a Dredger that was in play as a creature to the bin to then dredge more. Yeah, really interesting. But hey chat, thanks for hanging out. Hope you're doing well. I'll take this time to plug myself. You can find me on YouTube here. You can find me on Twitter here. You can also find me at the GreenSunsZenith, where I recently posted a new article on Gaddock Teeg and kind of why I think, sadly, Teeg just isn't really, really cutting it in 2022. And you can find that here. Alright, let's just get a Taiga. Oh, they let it through? Alright. Savine's out. I think the plagues are just too slow. I'd rather just have the swords to shut them down early on. I think that's the only change. Really relies on the ley lines or a pretty good reason to keep a Chalice hand. Maybe like a Mox with Containment Priest hand could be okay. But a tough one for sure. Any particular reason to return to 4-color Loam? This is a donation deck, which is really cool. Ooh, I don't think this is good enough. I think we need to find a leyline hand. Okay, this is definitely good enough. Probably bottoming just the trophy here. And then hope that we can find time to get these Containment Priests into play. I could lead with Wasteland there, but if they have a bounce effect here, it's pretty bloody good. Oh, they have it. All right. Ooh, okay. At least now we get to hold up Containment Priest, which is pretty nice. Containment Priest's a hard one for them to deal with. Looting is fine. See what they hit. Narcomoeba. Narcomoeba. Alright, so with these on the stack, we can fetch for probably Savannah, just because it's a second green source as well for Scavenging Ooze. And then flash in the Priest. Nice. Oof. Okay. I probably don't mind just like Wasteland here and Chalice for one. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I go for hitting Colosseum here. And then just try to win off the two priests. There's a world where I should Chalice for 0. Turn off LED. But there's already 3 in the bin, so... This is fine. I will flash in the other one here. Just does make things a little bit tougher. They do know about Leyline. Well, they named Knight. Sure. And then take the Chalice. This is effectively a 2-tone clock, because if they want to use their mana, they have to lose 2 life as well. Huh. Okay. They can sack this to get a, yeah, 2-2. Oh, the 2-2's back. So opponent definitely putting up a fight here. I do have to find a way through these tokens. That kind of is one, because I can get Dryad Arbor. Oh, no, I can't because of the Containment Priests. Oof, I'm lucky I caught that before I did it. A second Black Source is fine. Oh, Endurance is really nice. I think Endurance is just going to sum this up. Very close there, really screwing things up. Because then I also wouldn't have the mana for Endurance here. I could be aggressive, but I think attacking with just the Endurance is fine. Because in the following turn we pretty much have lethal. Yeah, now they need to find another blocker. But yeah, just a lot of hate in these draws, which has made it really good. Well, we finish up 3-2, which isn't too bad. Going up against Ant, Dredge, and Delver, I want to say. Maybe not. Yeah, locked out of their pain lands as well is really tough. We played against, Reanimator. We beat Reanimator, Dredge, Ant. Lost to, I'm going to say 2 BANT Control, BANT Loam decks, or BANT Zenith in that second version. But yeah, overall, not too... I mean, the deck was a blast to play. I think the big question is the Red Splash. What's the point of the Red Splash? And it's obviously for punishing fire here, but if you splash green... Oh, sorry, if you splash blue... You get Leovold, which is really strong as a Green Suns target. You also then have additional removal in Prismatic Ending, which is cool. I think you could definitely do that, which is pretty nice. So like 2 more endings. Take out the fires. You could play a Leo. You could even play 2 Leos, to be fair. Take out the Clothis. Take out a Grove, take out a Grove. You want Underground Sea. Probably one Underground Sea for the Badlands. And then you want a Trop instead of the Taiga. I could see a world where you play double Underground Sea. Maybe just the 1 Leo. Because you have Green Suns. I was about to say you could play Oko as well, but of course, that's not happening. And then the board's really interesting for blue, because a lot of the decks where you want things like Flusterstorm or some sort of counter magic, you do have the chalices for those decks as well. But I could see some sort of blue card in the sideboard. I'm just not sure what it would be. But it would be cool to see this deck kind of transition into a 4-color with blue version. I think Uro is actually quite a good one. And I think Uro fits into the deck really nicely as well. I don't have an Uro, but... Yeah, I think Uro is a really nice answer. Interesting that I don't own one. Probably even 2 Uros. I wouldn't be unhappy with that. Or like an Uro and a Green Sun to go up to 3 Green Suns. And then, yeah, the board is interesting. I kind of like the board, but I could see like another Plague Engineer just to really shore up those sorts of games. Yeah, Slowgurk's also an interesting one. I think I would actually go with Slowgurk and Uro, just because Slowgurk, it's such a powerful card that I think has space somewhere. It's also quite good with Beseiju as another way to return a land to your hand, which is cool. But it's always tough. Like, I think in a lot of matchups, you'd probably go for Leo or Uro first, and then Slowgurk as the last card. But really, really cool to have it. I wonder if I do have one. No. But yeah. What about you, chat? What do you think about the sideboard? If you're going to play a bug deck, what sort of sideboard cards are you thinking of? Like, Flusters are kind of interesting. I've always kind of liked Mystical Dispute. That's pretty sweet. Especially because it hits like Teferi and Jace, which is nice. And can just be like a normal counterspell against other decks, but at 3 mana you are definitely on the tougher side of things. But I do like the thought of Uro and Slowgurk. Priests were pretty good tonight. I didn't expect the Priest to be that good, but pretty happy with how they played out. All right. Now we're talking. Slowgurk, and I could see a world where there's like 2 Uros in the deck, but maybe just the one. I could see two Uros in the 75, but yeah, I think something like this would be kind of cool to move into. But until next time, a huge thank you to you guys for coming in and watching. Yeah, really cool to jam some pretty old school 4-color Loam, and a huge thank you to Jake for sending through the list. But yeah, I'm gonna see who else is streaming and send you guys over there. But yeah, just wanted to say a huge thanks. It means a lot that you guys come in and watch. I'm definitely no pro, so to have you guys just come in and give your thoughts, it's always really nice. And it's always really nice as well just to see the different lines that I don't see, because chat, if chat's good for anything, chat's good for lethal. We've definitely found that out a few times. So yeah, appreciate your support. Yeah. Sylvia is streaming, who is a pretty well-known Delver master. But yeah, Jake, a huge thank you. I'd be pretty keen to run this back and see how this goes with the blue splash in a little bit. So yeah, a huge thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.